Hi everyone, my name's James Ivey.
And I'm Alan Sallabank.
And you join us here at the end of day one of BVE 2017. Now, we thought along the lines of what we did at NAMM 2017, we would give you a kind of a highlight special at the end of each day, so you can then choose to later on trawl through the amount of content that we're going to put out and pick your own bits, and not having to wade your way through it all in one go. So, your first highlight for day one, Alan?
Well, obviously, it's got to be the Avid MTRX interface. Its debut as the first ever for sale model. So somebody
It's very shiny.
It's very shiny. It's got a lovely logo on the front of it, which I'm sure accounts for the increase in price. But hey, but no, it looks a very versatile unit. But also, they had the Dadmon system being controlled via Yukon on a Pro Tools Control app, which was absolutely lovely, and I think will open up flexible monitor control even.
Easy for you to say.
Yes, exactly. Not so easy for me to say. It'll open up that field to so many more people, and I think that is really the right direction to be going for Avid. I think looking at AOIP and getting into that sector, definitely.
Very, very cool. Well, my first one was, for those of you who don't know, our first port of call normally at a trade show is the press area. Mainly because they have cookies and coffee. Now, that's not my first highlight of the show, but directly opposite us was the Lawo booth with this amazing digital mixing console. And there are some companies out there who could learn an awful lot from looking at what these guys are doing. Very compact, actually, for the number of channels that they were offering in this particular module. Of course, it can be expanded. But I just thought within minutes of stepping up to this board, I could run a show. I could run a mix. Really, really impressive. Some incredible features, some incredible customization options as well. It felt really nice. Obviously, sound-wise at a show, it's difficult to know the ins and outs to that sort of level. But very, very cool piece of kit. Really beautifully made. It had a lovely feel to it.
Yeah.
And I just thought there are companies out there who could learn from these guys.
It's funny, we got about 10 yards away from the press booth, and we both stopped in our tracks and looked at this console and went, oh, that's nice. And the funny thing is that the chap came over and he said, it's a shame we don't have the bigger one here. And we said, no, actually, this is great, because a small control surface shows efficiency of design, it shows clear layout, and the fact that both of us could just go straight up to it and start messing around and start changing things and start doing anything we like. It's just a masterpiece of clear design, I think.
Yeah,
definitely.
They weren't trying to catch us out, which is what I liked. It was. This is the EQ. It works like the EQ. We haven't redesigned anything. We've just made it work so you can work, and I like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So your second one.
Well, it's definitely got to be going to see the new field recorders from Zoom, the F4, and including the F controller for the F8 and the F4 machines. What Zoom are doing, again, a bit like the Lawo consoles, they are building really nicely built, sturdy, easy to use, clear pieces of kit at a great price point.
I really like these little units. They were, again, it's function over form, which is, for me, the way forward. There's no point in it being complicated. In the field, I know they're called field recorders, but out there in the real world, as we proved earlier this afternoon, if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. It needs to be quick, it needs to be idiot-proof, especially with me around. Yeah, really, really good boxes, definitely.
Lovely, and there's also the whole range of other recorders with the built-in video cameras and stuff like that. I think you've got some plans for...
They will be being tested soon.
Yes, definitely. I think they could be a lot of fun indeed, especially with doing some of the Pro Tools Expert videos, definitely. And what was your second choice?
I think for me it had to be on the Harman booth, the new JBL Intonato, or Intonato, depending on where you're from. It's basically a 24-in, 24-out speaker management system, but not designed for the super high-end post-production facilities, mainly designed for us boys, the cottageization end of the industry, to use a Thorntonism. Very, very cost-effective speaker management, speaker optimization, room calibration, LFE and bass management. Very, very cool solution. and very competitively priced. When you think it gives us the ability to run sort of an Atmos rig in, well, for non-Atmos pricing, I was thinking. Now, this is something we are going to have to travel out to see. The guys at Jigsaw 24 will have, in fact, they'll have that unit in their demo suite very shortly. So we will take a trip to them, because it's not the sort of thing you can just pull in an Atmos rig into my room.
No, absolutely, definitely.
It's a bit too scary for me, I think. But we will go and visit them very shortly and get a full demo on the new Intonato system.
I think what's been really nice to see is that there seems to be a bit more of a renaissance in sound now at these shows, because last year there seemed to be very little sound going on. And I think that's mainly been driven by the AOIP explosion. It's much cheaper to put together multi-channel monitoring in AOIP than it is in old style analog. It's so much cheaper to build and to run and to maintain that I think it's really made videographers think more about sound. I think with 360 video and all these sort of things, it's really made them think twice about sound now, which, the fact that the first stand that we saw coming out the press office was an audio stand, that really made me smile, I think, about this.
We know these shows are always going to be about video tech. I mean, there's a very large selection of LED panels and drones. Now, I'm not averse to either of those. I think drones are going to definitely... I've seen very few jib cam operators or anything like that. A couple, but I think drones are definitely the way forward for that sort of thing. But as you say, audio now has to be taken seriously. Budgets are being slashed. Videographers are having to learn their audio chops. And I think as much as we may hate it as audio professionals that there's not a separate sound recordist or whoever on a shoot or on a job, the fact of the matter is budgets aren't going to go north anytime soon, I don't think. I could be wrong. It's been said before. And it's not rocket science what we do. Let's face it. Get it right with a few basic rules and you can produce some great audio, pass it on to post-production professionals, and they can then produce the goods. It's only when there isn't the facilities in place, like good mics, good audio capture, and you ignore the basics. You ignore the basic rules where it all goes wrong. Unfortunately, guys like you, Alan, I know, have to pick up the pieces all too often.
Yeah, well, that's my job, and that's what I do. But
Exactly.
It's that, you go into every job expecting to have to do some work on it, and it's always a pleasant surprise when it comes out nicely. But this is a really nice thing. There seems to be the whole process seems to be looked at this show this year. There's so many microphones available, so many field recorders, so many post-production solutions, monitoring, the works. It all seems to be here this year, which I think is really good.
Cool. So that's, for us, the highlights of our first day here at BVE. We're actually back on Thursday, so you're going to get day 3's highlights as well. But for now, I've been James Ivey.
I've been Alan Sallabank.
And this has been BVE 2017, and we'll see you again soon for some more gear talk.
Cheers.